It's going in circles. And we are live. Welcome to Connected for Real podcast. We are here with Leslie. I am Rebbetzin Bat-Chen Grossman, and I am a marriage coach for women in business. Today, we are talking about being present at mealtime with Leslie, and she's going to introduce herself, and then you'll figure out why this is so important and so awesome to talk about. So go ahead, Leslie.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. So I'm Leslie Urbas. I'm a dietitian and a personal trainer. And I focus on really, as I like to say, allowing people to enjoy the margaritas and the abs, which really just means allowing yourself to enjoy what you're eating and still enjoy your body and love what it is that you have. And I really focus on that person and making that commitment and helping them reach that new level of removing the weight, removing the emotional eating issues, the disease inducing patterns, and really just live life to its fullest. So that way we're not always trapped by some diet.
That's amazing. I never liked diets because first of all, didn't need them. I was always the skinny girl, but also because I saw what it did to my mother and later my sister and my friends, whatever. It's just like restrictive and, it makes you obsess over something that is outside of reality. Like it just felt like it put them in the wrong um place of mind. I don't know if that's even a word. I made that up. But one of the things that's so funny is my favorite food is salad. Like since I was really young, I love salad. I love vegetables. I love fancy salads. I could just do a whole buffet of salads and be happy. And, people would ask, what's your favorite food? And all my friends were like, pasta and pizza and macaroni and cheese and all this like stuff. And I would be like, salad. And people would give me this really shocked face. Like, you like salad? And I thought, I don't know why everybody else thinks that salad is, something is wrong with salad. So I feel like that comes from almost like being forced to eat salad, like that food that nobody wants because it's because for those listening who did not see this, the camera almost fell over and we're laughing at that. Yeah, so I want to hear about what you think about that because I almost feel like now as a mother, my kids love certain things because we love certain things. So, we have sauerkraut and my kids are asking for sauerkraut and the guests would be like, that's not normal. Kids are not supposed to like sauerkraut. I was like, your kids like, what you serve, what you eat, what you find exciting.
Yeah, so that's a great thing to, notice. Agreed to that, you're not going to get a kid to eat vegetables if you and your husband don't eat vegetables. It's just impossible to really you'll fool them for a while, right? Let's put it that way. When they're little and it's just exciting to get food on their plate and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I get something other than milk," right? And they see that first food and they're colorful, like, broccoli's bright green and things like that. Of course they'll eat them, but as they get older and they start to see like, well, why doesn't dad have the salad and why doesn't mom have the asparagus and why doesn't, why do I have the vegetables but nobody else does? They'll pick up your picky eating that way for sure. They definitely will, develop that. Some of the things that I see a lot of times with parents is that they really try to restrict the foods in their kids' diets for as long as they possibly can. And then it just opens up a smorgasbord as soon as they can have those foods where it's like, oh, I'm going to eat everything in sight because I've never had this food before and now it's mine. So it can go both ways in that, but agreed that, if you eat them and you keep them present, your kids are going to do the same. I'm a big advocate for baby-led weaning. It's what I've done with both of my kids. Never gave them a lick of baby food whatsoever. And when somebody did, both of them were like, like not gonna eat that. I don't know what it is, right? They eat real green beans. They don't know what some of those other things are. So yeah, the more you present them with the way food should look and the things that you eat, the better off you're going to have your kid eat what it is that you cook.
I love that you brought that up because it was the first thing that went in my head is your kids are going to grab what's on your plate. You know, I hold my kid, my baby, I have a 4-month-old now. You guys all know that. And I hold him while I eat with the other hand because that's what you do when you have 7 kids. And and so I see that he's starting to get interested and he's trying to grab my cup or he's trying to, you know, grab the fork, whatever it is. It's an instinct to want to grab whatever is in front of you and try to figure out what it is that's happening in somebody else's plate, you know?
Yeah.
And so I really like that you said that. I also brought up before that I never dieted because I didn't need to, but I don't think I had a good relationship with food. And I had to work on that throughout my journey. And so I think that it's just I think it's eye-opening for me right now thinking about it that even though people thought, "Oh, she's skinny, she doesn't have any problems, she can eat whatever she wants," I still had to go through my own journey of, you know, being sensitive to food and not being able to eat certain things. It gave me stomach aches and trying to figure out what is going on with the whole thing, and eventually realizing that it's really just my relationship with food that wasn't healthy, that had nothing to do with my weight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
there's a lot of connections with all of that, how you choose your food, why you choose your food, how food plays in your body. Sometimes even you can cause your own effects with what it is you're eating in your body.
right. So
Yeah.
I just thought that was a aha moment I'm having while talking to you.
Good.
Yeah, we had a conversation for a half hour before we went live, and it's really amazing. So, Leslie, tell the people what you were saying because it's fascinating the connection between, you know, being present, mindful eating, all of the effects that our subconscious has on our eating. All of that stuff is just amazing.
Yeah. So I think from the standpoint of a lot of the women that you speak to, we go into life thinking that it's one, potentially going to be easy, and two, we're going to be this mom that, like, meal preps and the kids only eat the healthy things, and they strive to only eat the healthy things, and things are just perfect. And you try to remove all those things that you had when you were a kid, like things that come to mind, or friends of mine are like, oh, my kid will never eat Pringles, and my kid will never have a piece of candy, or they'll never have these things, right? No, she's not. Like, I've had friends that are like, no, she's 2 and she's never had a single lick of sugar before. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Well, what, does your kid eat sugar? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I think she probably got candy as soon as she turned 1, but it is what it is either way. And that's not judging in any way. It doesn't, you do yourself as a mom, but the thought process is with kids, the more you restrict and you put things on a pedestal, like, this is special candy, this is special food, this is for special occasions, special things, special treats, that gratifies the food, right? That's special. Those things are better than the other things. So we put these foods now on a pedestal where the candy, the cake, the cookies, and things like that are better for them. They're hearing those as special. When your kid does something really good, you congratulate them, right? You give them hugs, you give them praise, you do things special for them. And if you give them these special foods only at these special times, they then think when something special happens in their life, this is how they do it. And that becomes into, like, as you're trying to restrict, because you're like, I don't want my kid to be fat. I don't want him to be overweight. I don't want him to have these issues with food like I did growing up. We kind of cause them, right? We kind of cause them because of it. So then you bring your own self into play, right? So you bring, when we're parents, we bring ourselves into it, right? We bring in our own dieting history, we bring in all those things. So if you've been somebody that's yo-yo dieted all your life, or you've been restricted, or you have these like moments where it's like, I'm not touching that ice cream, or things along that nature, you really restrict to your kids the same mindset. Even if you think, well, I'm not saying it out loud, doesn't matter. They watch that while they're playfully eating their ice cream and dad is joining them, mom's not. Why isn't mom doing it? Or if mom does it, she has a few bites and says she's full. Or why is it at moments that you'll hear, mostly women, sometimes men, say, oh, I can't eat that today, or no, I'm just not eating that, mommy's eating something different. Or you do the supplements, or you do whatever that diet is out there, and you change your diet, and you say it's to build strength or whatever, but your kids see it and they see why you're trying to do it. And so it imparts to them this sort of disordered eating, which we all have. You have some sort of potential disordered eating if you've ever done a diet in your life, because at one point certain foods either cost more points or cost more calories or cost more um, fat or whatever it was that you were tracking at the time. So you have a different relationship with that food. And so because you have that different relationship with that food, even if you think, well, I'm not counting the points anymore, it doesn't matter. If you're still used to, chicken being a free food and a piece of cake being all your points for the day, it plays in your mind, and that plays out in how you respond with your family. And all of those things come into correlation with everybody in your family and in your relationships, right? Comes into play with your husband, because it's like, let's say you did eat the cake that day, and later on that day he tries to entice you, and you're like, no, I feel awful, I feel gross, like I ate this piece of cake. And so you become super self-conscious, and it puts a little damper there on your personal relationship with your husband. And then with your kids, they see the difference. Like, let's say you one day eat everything that you want, and the next day it goes back to super restrictive. They see, I eat what I want, I punish myself, with or without you using the words. And that's really where, food and the disordered eating patterns we have play throughout our life. So the more we're like, oh, I'm just going to go follow this, or I know what I need to do, I just don't do it, we're showing our kids it's okay to say you're going to do something and not follow through, you know? And that's really the biggest thing that I, in my business, that I help with, is that I help you get through that disordered eating, so that way you're clear and you can be present in the moment and eat the 2 bites of ice cream and just laugh about it, right? Like, enjoy your kids in the moment, instead of in your head being like, okay, what do I need to restrict? How much more gym time do I need? Like, what is going to happen to my body from these few bites of ice cream? So,
Right. I like it, Byron Katie says, take the soundtrack that's going on in your head and just, like, turn it off. And how would this be different when there is no soundtrack that says, "What is this going to do to me and what's going to be?" When I found out about Byron Katie, I was scared, like, her work, it's called The Work by Byron Katie. Her work is about relationships with people. So if you're upset with your mom, you would do your work, the work, or, the judge your neighbor worksheet, which is a one-page worksheet. You would do it on your mom. You'd say, I'm annoyed with my mom because she, messed up my life, whatever, right? Like, I don't know if you I had a we had a neighbor who said a mom's job is to embarrass her kids at least 3 times a day so that they have something to complain about when they're grown up, because everybody's gonna always say their mom messed up their life. Anyway, it was just a funny example that came up to me. I love my mom, by the way. She was on the podcast, and we had a whole discussion about raising a leader and how she did an amazing job, so definitely giving her all the credit. Um, Not all the credit, some of the credit. Okay, so I was so scared of doing the work because I, like the first time you're like, I don't know, because I'm gonna find out certain truths that I'm afraid to face. So I did the work on food, and the work on food was mind blowing. What came out of that was just like, oh, food is complicated. Food is, you know, um, a headache. Food causes stomach aches, whatever it is. When I turned it around, like, I am complicating it. It's not complicated. Food is not complicated. Food is just food. I'm the one complicating it, and I'm the one who is letting it, control my stomach aches, and I'm using it as the reason why my stomach is hurting. Once I did the work on food, I realized that that night or the next night, I had a stomach ache, and I was like, "Okay, what did I eat?" Like, my immediate thing was, "What did I eat that day that caused my stomach to hurt?" And I realized, "Wait, stop thinking that. It's not the food. What could it be?" And it turned out there was a person who came over who I couldn't stand, and I was, like, trying to be nice and couldn't, just like, "Oh, she's so shallow. I can't believe she's saying these things, and this whole thing is going through my head." And I totally ignored that because I was looking for what foods cause my stomach to hurt. When I stopped and decided that's not a reason, let's look for other reasons, I had to sit down and do the work on that woman. And once I sat down and did the work on that woman, I realized that, oh, that was a huge lesson. Like, all the things that came out of that work that I did were just a mirror on all the things I had to work on, and then it just, like, that blew my mind. So, that
Yeah.
was a long story to describe my relationship with food. You were saying about, like, "Oh, mom is having just 1 or 2 bites, everybody else is, like, gobbling it up." Um, I think that the kids also see right through it. If mom is gobbling it up as a fake, just trying to be normal and, hoping that it doesn't cause pain or whatever, they're also gonna know.
Mhm.
So, I know that I can enjoy a bite or 2, but really, I just really want the salad. Like, I don't care. So, to be my real true self, I just need to eat that 1 or 2 bites and be part of the party without eating too much, without faking it. And so my kids are just like, "Oh, I'm learning that I could be okay with being different. I don't have to eat like everyone else, or I don't have to push myself to do something just because that's the way everybody does it." I think that's also just another another look on how kids see right through when we lie or when we think we're holding it back, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I agree with, being true to yourself. I mean, obviously, don't eat ice cream if you're lactose intolerant and you're going to be in, the bathroom for the rest of the night. Let's not go that route. It's very easy
Right.
to tell your kids, like, I don't like it. I don't, or it doesn't agree with mom's stomach or whatever. There's absolutely no problem with that. That's a healthy thing. Can also be, I dislike it. I don't eat bacon. I don't like bacon. I've never liked bacon. I don't know why people eat bacon. And everybody here, like, how do you not like bacon? It's like, it's an American thing. I was like, guess I'm not American. I don't know what to tell you. But, my daughter will eat it. I'll cook it for my daughter. She'll ask for it. And then she'll say, Mom, you don't eat bacon. I'm like, nope, I just don't like it. You eat it. Dad eats it. Larry eats it. I don't eat it. And she was like, okay, she's over. It doesn't matter. I just don't eat it. Sometimes she'll ask me if I want to bite. And I'm like, no, I don't like it. I don't want to eat it. And there's nothing wrong in terms of that. That's present. It's when your relationship with food becomes part of every relationship you have, part of the relationship with your kids, part of the
Mhm.
relationship with your husband, part of, like, I can't go out, I can't wear that, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's no way I'm going to a beach. I don't feel comfortable. And it's where you get totally consumed by the shame and the guilt wrapped around whatever food that you are not eating in your body and your whole presence. And that creates a very large emotional relationship with yourself, with food, and it brings it into all of the relationships that you're in. That's when it becomes, detrimental. Not when you choose to be like, I really don't want the ice cream, I really want the salad. Absolutely not. It's when that present moment of food is now controlling you and you're no longer controlling it.
Oh, wow. That was so good. That
Yeah.
was so good. Just that point, when food becomes the center of every relationship or, affects every relationship.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you help people?
Yeah, so that's what I do. I really do help the people that are ready to make the commitment. I mean, I'll be honest with that up front. Everybody says it. Like, you could walk down the street right now, knock on 20 doors, and I guarantee 10 of them would be like, "Yeah, I want to lose weight," right? If not more, maybe 15 or maybe all 20, right? So I'd be like, "Yeah, I could probably lose a little bit of pounds or change some sort of whatever." Right. But it's the real truth of being committed. Like, do you want to break that relationship? Do you want to impart a healthy relationship with food to yourself, to your kids? Do you have a goal? Like, is it that you want to get out of this dieting mindset? Is it that you want to stop cycling up and down 20 pounds? Is it that you want to have intense strength? So I really help you focus on the goal that you have at hand, to reduce any emotional eating tethers you may have, reduce any weight you want to take off, and reduce any disease inducing patterns that you may have. Maybe diabetes runs in your family. Let's minimize that. So you can live shame and guilt free, enjoying those moments, present with your family, not saying no to life events because of the way that you feel. And as I like to say it, hold that margarita in hand with a smile on your face, really enjoying what it is that you want to do in your life ultimately.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, thanks.
That's amazing. And I love how you said before, can you say it again with, like, not making it 2 different things, but really cross over?
Yeah, so we go at dieting for a piece of paper, right? We're like, okay, here's my piece of paper of diet and here's my life. Instead, what we're looking for is to intersect the two of them, right? We want to bring the diet and the piece of paper diet together, right? So my life, Leslie, I love to do X, Y, and Z. But then when I'm on a diet, I don't do X, Y, or Z because I'm on this diet. So how do we get it for the two to mingle? That's the process if your diet's going to work. The moment you have to say, I'll go on it on Monday, or, when I go on vacation, I fall off, or I do really well, and then those are all excuses, meaning that that piece of paper wasn't designed for you. Well, I mean, nobody wants to fit in a box their whole life, right? You can tell if you're unhappy in certain aspects of your life, and a diet is typically just a way for you to control some other unhappy aspects. But if you could get your diet to, give you some happiness and give you what you want without having to, remove all the fun in your life, you're going to actually get results.
Right. I love that. First of all, I love that you're saying you have to be committed, because if you're okay with being okay, this is what I say, like, how's your marriage? It's okay. We're not getting divorced. Nothing bad is happening. My husband loves me. He's a good guy. And, it's okay. So there's nothing to change. You're just like okay with being okay. But when you are not okay with being okay anymore, and you're like, I can have so much better, I could totally break out of this okayness, that is when you're ready. And for me, those are the people I love to help. Your husband loves you. He wants the best for you. He wants you to be ecstatic, not just happy. He wants you to be at the top of the world, because that's what men were made to focus on. Like, a successful man, he measures his success by how happy his wife is. So you can have a guy who's the most successful man in the world. He has the buildings and everything all around, and everybody wants to be him because he has everything that everybody else wants. But he comes home and his wife is like, oh, I can't believe you did this, and I can't do that. And she complains, and she's like, you're not enough, and this and that. How does he feel? Like a nothing, like a total failure. So when we realize that this is all he wants, then all we need to do is be happy.
Yeah.
The problem is that we don't know how to be happy because we've been conditioned that being happy is awkward. Like, why are you so happy? It's like as if there's something wrong with you, you
No,
know?
agreed. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the majority, of people that come. They're like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then they hear the investment and they're like, my husband's going to say no. Well, you're the one that just said you wanted to be happy. Go to him and be like, this is going to help me get clear to be happier with us, right? Like, why do we have to dumb our lives down for an existence that, like, do you want to make it through life saying, I'm okay?
Right. And you just said it before when we were talking, where I was asking you about your marriage and your business, and like, why is it that we limit ourselves? Like, he did not even say no. You said he's going to say no. Isn't that crazy
Yep.
how our brains work? Like, we're like, this is what I want. I know it's amazing. This and that. This is going to change my life. And then it's like, but my husband's not going to let. But my husband's not going to be happy with this. But my husband is not going to, give me the okay on this. Like, no, your husband wants the best for you. The problem is when you're not sure what's good for you, or when you don't know what you want. So then you come and ask for permission as if like he's a parent or something. And
Mm.
he doesn't want to say yes to something that's expensive and he doesn't know if it's going to work. But if you come and say, I did the homework, I'm committing to this. This is going to change my life. And I just want you to know that you're an important part of my life and you're my partner. And I need your okay in order to go ahead with this investment. That's a totally different vibe.
Agreed.
And it changes everything.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in full agreement.
Mic drop.
Yep.
Leslie, how can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I am on YouTube too, but those are the ones I kind of hang out on the most. My name, Leslie Urbas, is pretty much it on all the platforms. And then I also run a group. It's called Weight Loss and Wellbeing for High Performers on Facebook, and I go live in there every day. And I do a lot of talks about disordered eating, ways that you're not committing to yourself, tips to break through some of your subconscious beliefs to actually start to get results. So you can kind of start there. Or check out my website, leslieUrbas.com. And I'd love to, learn more about you and see if there's ways that we can get you to your goals.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I am reminding everyone who is listening and watching that the retreat is happening very soon. Uh, connectedforreal.com/retreat is where you sign up. Actually, I am going to turn on the banner because I have a banner.
Ooh.
Um, connectedforreal.com/retreat. And the retreat is a virtual retreat. It is a free retreat and it is 7 days. So it's not 7 days in a row. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we have a break for Friday and Saturday. And then we go again Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And why it's 7 days? Because I want to give it all to you. I don't want to just give you a taste and tell you, okay, now in order to get to the next level, come and, buy from me. I really felt this calling to just give, give, give. And this is the third time I'm doing the retreat. It's 1 hour a day on Zoom. And let me give you the breakdown because it's actually really fun. It's the first 4 days are the calm method, which is the method that I came up with of how I broke out of that resentment and figured out how to make my marriage and my business work together and really align to God's purpose, to my purpose in God's world, whatever, you get that.
Very good.
So, so the C is for connect to yourself. The A is for ask for abundance. The L is listen for the answer. And the M is master a higher level of consciousness. And I realized that this was a pattern that I kept going through in order to up level every single time. And it worked like magic. So I have to share it with you. And I would love for all of you to come and join me there. Day 5 is intimacy because you can't have a retreat without talking about intimacy. And it's the most popular day. Everybody shows up to that on time with paper to write down notes because it really is that powerful. Day 6 is design the atmosphere in your home because I really want this to affect every part of your life. And day 7 is bringing it all together and tying it in a beautiful bow. And you get to ask your questions and answers. So make sure you sign up, connectedforreal.com/retreat. I see that Leslie's already typing it up so she can be
Yep, I just did it actually. Yep.
be there.
I was like,
Yep.
hey, I need to, because she's got it right there. I was like, okay, let me type it in here so that way I don't forget. I was going to tell you that too when we were done. I was going to be like, I just did it, so go do it.
Yes, she just did it. So you go do it. And I look forward to seeing you there. It's not like one of those webinar things. It's the full thing. You get the 7 days, which is an hour a day for 7 days. And you also get, you heard that ding, by the way, that was your email going
Oh, that's
through.
funny.
That's so cool. You also get an implementation call with me. So we actually get to talk one-on-one and I get to hear what it is that, how the information is sitting for you and how you're feeling about what I'm saying. I say things that no one else is saying. That is one of the things that I had to figure out on my own because most marriage people were talking about communication and how to react differently, whatever. And it just wasn't sitting right for me. So this is going to blow your mind. It is very deep. It's for high level people. And I look forward to seeing you there.
Agreed.
So thank you so much, Leslie. This was so awesome. You guys should definitely check her out and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.